What does a generous soul look like? A generous soul is, generosity is giving it away. The Gaither fans in this room, they're like, go ahead and sing it. Take whatever you have. There we go. Generosity is giving time, giving effort, giving love, giving kindness, giving compliments, giving finances, giving prayers. Can I say something about prayer real quick? If you don't mean it, don't put on your Facebook to everybody that has a problem. Praying for you.
Amen.
Well, I'm gonna preach to this side right here. You know what I mean? Because there's been times where I've wanted you just to reply back, are you really? Praying for you. But the people that pray for other people, they're generous people. Generosity is caring for a loved one or a friend. Can I just park right there just for a moment? Because everybody, if I would have asked you all before service, if I would have said to you, what is generosity? You would have said to me, well, somebody giving somebody money. That's one of a million. Generosity is somebody giving up their life to care for somebody else that's in need. That's what generosity is. Generosity is the wife that's taking care of a husband, the husband that's taking care of a wife, the son that's taking care of an elderly mother, the daughter that's taking care of an elderly father, the person that's saying, I'm going to put my life on hold so that I can care for other. That's some of the greatest acts of generosity that we could ever imagine. Generosity is adoption. Generosity is parenting children that you didn't birth. Come on now, somebody be a blessing to those people who are doing these kind of things. It takes special people to have special acts of generosity. To invite folks into your home and to do things for people. There's been a couple times in my life where different people have lived in my house, and just, can I be honest with y'all? That ain't easy for me. I mean, there's days where I'm just praying that my family will want to go to Walmart. Like, I need some time by myself, and if they don't go, I'm going to go. And I'm going to take 2 hours to drive there, even though it takes 20 minutes. I need some alone time. People. No, you can't go. I'm trying to get alone time. So if the Lord says to me, hey, Josh, you gotta invite people into your home. Listen, there are times that God will ask your generosity to stretch. Woo, Jesus, are you sure you didn't mean to ask somebody else to do that? If God speaks to me and says, give somebody some money, all right, I'll write the check, Lord. I give there's a lot. You want me to go and you want me to pick them up and you want me to, one of the things that I do, and I can't be a truck for everybody, so don't get any ideas, people. But a lot of times I give my truck to people to use, and I'll go, a lot of times if I'm at Lowe's and I'm leaving Lowe's, I'll ask God for an opportunity to be a blessing. I'll go out in the parking lot sometimes, and there'll be that person that's trying to carry something that their vehicle can't carry. Y'all ever seen that before? Yes. They're trying to put 18 stacks of plywood on top of a Chevette. And it's like, what were you thinking? Why are you at Lowe's? What are you doing here? And so a lot of times I'll ask the Lord for an opportunity, and I'll say to people, hey, how you doing? And I'll introduce myself. I'll say, where are you going to? And if they say that they're anywhere near me, I'll say, hey, throw it in the back of the truck and I'll take it home for you. That's an act of Now, Lord, I can do that. But sometimes the Lord will ask you to do things that's a little more challenging. I bet, let me stay on track here just for a moment. Lord, you want me to call who and tell them that I'm sorry? Remember, the generous soul will be rich. Woo. I think I need to sit down to finish the rest of the sermon. Generosity is loving the hurting. Generosity is giving somebody a ride, giving somebody a meal, giving somebody a drink. Generosity is granting forgiveness even when you think they aren't deserving. Generosity is loving the unloved, loving the unlovable. Generosity is doing good even when you don't want to do good. Generosity is whenever you open up your life and you open up your home and you're willing just to be a blessing to other people. Generosity is so many things. Generosity is also sharing resources. Can I just get an amen right? Sometimes God asks you to give your resources. Generosity breaks the curse of being self-absorbed, self-centered, self-concerned, self-infatuated, self-interested, self-obsessed, self-seeking, and self-serving. Generosity will crush the self-life. Generosity will take yourself and crush it. I love people, amen, who can balance out their desires and needs and their generosity in which they're going to bless other people. But you see, whenever your everyday is absorbed by you and yourself and what you think, and I mean, you can't be generous when you're so in love with yourself. Who do you love most in this world? Well, that's easy. I love me. Woo! Nice talking to you. Well, look at the time. Got to run. Generosity is acting like Jesus. Selfishness is acting like the world. When we were struggling, we're not really struggling. We were pushing through, when we were trying to become a debt-free church, and we were pressing into it, and I was asking people to do whatever they could do or go above and beyond. You see, because a lot of people think that tithing is generosity. No, tithing is bringing back to the man what belongs to the man, because you're not giving him, you're just returning. So yes, Lord. So if I borrow Chris's chainsaw and I use it for 4 days, and then I take it back to him, that's not generosity. That's taking back to him what belongs to him. Tithing is taking back to God what belongs to God. Now, everything you do above that is generosity. But I came into work one day whenever we were trying to pay off the building, and you guys, some of you will remember this story, and a lady who was part of the church, and she was somewhat handicapped, and she wasn't well. She had come in the middle of the night because the Lord spoke to her to do what she could to help us with our mortgage. She came and she took an envelope, and in that envelope she put $5, and she taped it on the front of our door, and she wrote me a little note. This was to help pay for the mortgage of the church. $5. Our mortgage was $1.1 million. But you know what that $5 seed did? Within 5 years, that $5 seed and other people's generosity, in 5 years, that $1.1 million was gone. All because of the generosity of other people. All because of the generosity of other people. I have great news for you this morning. You are sitting amongst some of the most generous people that this planet could ever contain. You are sitting amongst some of the greatest. Come on, there you go. I got 4 or 5. You are sitting amongst some of the best of the best of the best of the best. You are sitting amongst some of the most generous people that sometimes are so generous that it wears me out. Because sometimes I'm trying to keep up with who was generous and how generous they were. You got to reciprocate that. Well, how can I be a blessing to them? That's what generosity does. They were so nice to me and so kind to me. How can I return that blessing? Lord, give me an opportunity to be a blessing. That's what generosity does. Selfishness says, man, they were a blessing to me. I'm going to take my money and run. Take my blessing and run. Selfishness asks for a lot and gives a little. Now, but I have to tell you this morning. You guys getting anything out of this? We need to have a spirit of generosity. I need some folks to listen to me now, because I know there's some new folks and some regular folks and different people. First of all, I want to tell many of you that I'm proud of you, because I really believe that the majority of our church are very generous people in every way possible. The other day we had a big flood in the church. If you aren't aware of this, the other day we had a water tank burst, and by the time we found it, there was several rooms full of water. This whole side of the church was underwater the other day. You came in this morning and you'd never know it. Why? Because generous people heard the request. They came with shop vacs. Some of them left work, came to the church. And I know it was during the day, so not everybody could come. But then there were other people that gave up their day. There was young people. There was middle-aged people. There was retired people. It was a little bit of everything. It wasn't just, one group of people, and it wasn't just the staff. And we had a bunch of people coming. We had people who were caretaking of their families, and their families are sick, and I got to go to the church. Why? Because they're generous people. And within a couple hours, Pastor Roy, the job was pretty much done. And then all through the evening, I'm in Morgantown because someone had wanted me to go to the Cancer Institute up in Morgantown so I'm in Morgantown at a doctor's appointment up there with somebody, and people are still calling me, hey, what do you guys still need for the church? All day long. I'm like, hey, you got to call Pastor Sheldon. Pastor Sheldon knows the answer to that question. I don't know. But the flip side, I'm going to try to close with this. The flip side of that is this: an expectation of generosity is greed. An expectation of generosity is greed. They know I have a need and they're going to help me. I mean, just an expectation of it. I would love to elaborate on that, but I know that I got to be careful, and I want to be sensitive. But some folks need to know that an expectation of generosity is greed. And it details, if you have an expectation and you rely on generosity, if you rely on generosity, it means that you yourself haven't been generous enough because you're maintaining getting through life by the goodness of others. And it means that you're receiving a lot, but you can't be giving a lot because you have the expectation of generosity. I'll finish by reading Romans 12 to you. Romans 12, verses 9 through 16. Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil, cling to what is good. Be kindly affectionate to one another, Mac, with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another, not lagging in diligence, fervent in prayer, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer, distributing to the needs of the saints, given to hospitality. Now, that's not just your church's responsibility, because the church is the ecclesia, and everybody in this room is the ecclesia, and we are all supposed to be distributing to the needs of the saints. Come on now, still don't have all of you. Verse 14, bless those, here we go, let's preach right here. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Do I need to read that one more time? Come on. Woo, woo, man. I'm just getting heated up right there. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Be generous. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind toward one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do not, listen, if I could preach right here. Do not be wise in your own opinion. Glory. I could preach an 8-week revival on that sentence right there. Do not be wise in your own opinion. Romans 12 tells us how we are supposed to live the Christian life. Let love be without hypocrisy. Be kind to one another. Give it honor. Rejoicing, distributing to the needs. Bless those who persecute. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind to one another. Don't let it always be about your opinion. Sometimes it's got to be about the will of God. Less about me, more about Him. Less about me, more about us. You see, because individuality is lonely, but community is family. You don't just sit in a church this morning. You don't just sit, and I know that not everybody knows everybody, but you don't just sit in a room where a group of people come to be an exposition, to be a display of a hangout. You are sitting in a community this morning. And whether you like it or not, because not all families get along all the time, whether you like it or not, if you are a part of covenant, then you are a part of the family. You might call us crazy. You might call us lunatics. You might say you love us. You might say we on your nerves. But guess what? We family, baby. Stand with me this morning. Everybody in this room is a part of the family of God. Everybody in this room is a part of the family of God. Everybody in this room that feels lonely, I've got good news for you. You are still a part of the family of God. You are not alone. There's no reason for you to be alone. You are a part of the family. Should I keep it for myself? Everything that you keep to yourself and you hold it in your hand real tight is a seed that you could be sowing for greater joy, greater peace, greater blessing. When you open up your hand and release what God has given you, God can do greater things in your life.